Hello, welcome to the channel. Today we will learn about the explosive family confrontation brewing between Jennifer Horton Devereaux and Chad DiMera that threatens to tear the family apart and could result in young Thomas DiMera being permanently relocated to Boston. The tension surrounding Chad's controversial relationship with Kat Green has reached a boiling point, and the fallout promises to shake the very foundation of the Horton and DiMera families in ways that Salem residents have never witnessed before. Jennifer Horton Devereaux, portrayed by the beloved Melissa Reeves, has made her feelings crystal clear about Chad DiMera's romantic entanglement with Kat Green, and those feelings are anything but positive. The seasoned Salem matriarch finds herself utterly disgusted and deeply disturbed that Chad would even consider maintaining a friendship with Kat, let alone pursuing a full-blown romantic relationship with the woman who once impersonated his deceased wife Abigail Devereaux. Jennifer's maternal instincts and protective nature have kicked into overdrive, particularly because this situation is now directly impacting her young nephew Thomas DiMera in devastating emotional ways that no child should ever have to endure. The anger and disappointment Jennifer feels toward Chad's choices have been simmering beneath the surface for weeks, but recent developments have caused those emotions to explode into a fierce determination to protect Thomas from further psychological damage. The situation escalated dramatically when Jennifer learned the full extent of how Chad's relationship with Kat Green has been affecting young Thomas on a deeply personal level. The heartbreaking reality came to light when Thomas approached his great-aunt Jennifer with an unexpected and emotionally charged request that left Jennifer, Jack, and Julie Williams completely stunned. Thomas, feeling overwhelmed, confused, and deeply uncomfortable with his father's choice of girlfriend, asked Jennifer if he could move in with her and Jack Devereaux at their Boston residence. This desperate plea from a child who should feel safe and secure in his own home speaks volumes about the toxic environment that has developed in the DiMera mansion since Kat Green entered the picture. Thomas's request wasn't made lightly. It came after considerable turmoil, including conversations with his cousin Rachel Black, who apparently played a role in influencing Thomas's negative perception of Kat. The revelation that Thomas wants to leave Salem and move to Boston with his grandparents represents a watershed moment in this family drama. Jennifer and Jack Devereaux, who returned to Salem specifically to celebrate Jennifer's 40-year anniversary in the town, now find themselves at the center of a custody battle they never anticipated. Jennifer's protective instincts have been ignited like never before, and she is seriously considering honoring Thomas's request to take him back to Boston where he can have the physical and emotional distance he needs from Kat Green and the chaos she has brought into his life. The idea that a child feels so uncomfortable in his own home that he would rather live in a different city entirely is not something Jennifer takes lightly, and it has only intensified her fury toward Chad for allowing this relationship to progress despite the obvious damage it's causing to his children. The impending confrontation between Jennifer and Chad will undoubtedly center around the grandparents' plan to take Thomas back to Boston, creating a geographic separation that would allow the traumatized boy some much-needed space away from the woman who continues to remind him of his late mother's tragic fate. Jennifer will argue passionately that Thomas's emotional well-being and mental health must take priority over Chad's romantic desires, and that if Chad cannot see how his relationship with Kat is destroying his son's sense of security and stability, then drastic measures must be taken immediately. Jennifer has witnessed firsthand the pain and confusion in Thomas's eyes, and she refuses to stand by and watch her nephew suffer while Chad pursues a relationship with someone who carries such painful baggage and complicated history with the entire family. Chad DiMera, on the other hand, is going to have an enormous problem with any suggestion that Thomas should leave Salem and move to Boston with Jack and Jennifer. Despite recently breaking up with Kat Green partially due to Thomas's demands and the pressure from his son to end the relationship, Chad will view any attempt to remove Thomas from his custody as a direct attack on his abilities as a father and an unacceptable overreach by the Horton family. Chad has already been through the heartbreak of losing his beloved wife Abigail, and the thought of losing daily contact with his son Thomas represents another devastating blow that he simply cannot tolerate. Chad's complicated feelings about Kat Green, combined with his fierce love for his children and his determination to maintain his family unit, will create an explosive situation when Jennifer and Jack present their case for taking Thomas to Boston. The conflict will force Chad to examine his priorities and make difficult choices about his future. Chad recently broke the hard truth to Kat Green, ending their relationship because Thomas essentially demanded that he dump her, with young Rachel Black's influence playing a significant role in poisoning Thomas's perception of the relationship. However, Chad's feelings for Kat remain complicated, and he harbors resentment about being forced to choose between his romantic happiness and his son's approval. Now, faced with the very real possibility that his decisions have damaged his relationship with Thomas so severely that the boy wants to leave Salem entirely, Chad must confront the consequences of his actions and the pain he has inadvertently caused his son. Jennifer's position in this fight will be strengthened by the support of her husband Jack Devereaux and her cousin Julie Williams, both of whom have expressed serious concerns about Chad's relationship with Kat Green from the very beginning. Julie, in particular, has been vocal about her distrust of Kat and has urged Chad to stay far away from the woman who once participated in Clyde Weston's cruel scheme to impersonate Abigail. The united front of the Horton family members will present a formidable challenge to Chad, who will find himself increasingly isolated as he attempts to defend his choices and his right to maintain custody of his son. The Hortons will argue that they are not trying to take Thomas away permanently, but rather providing him with a temporary refuge where he can heal emotionally and process the traumatic events of recent months without the constant reminder of Kat Green's presence. The situation is further complicated by the fact that Kat Green has her own secrets and hidden agendas that could explode at any moment. Kat's past as an ISA agent working undercover for Shane Donovan, combined with her current assignment that involves investigating Chad's brother E.J. DiMera, means that there are layers of deception and complexity that the Horton family doesn't even know about yet. If these secrets were to come to light during this custody battle, it would only vindicate Jennifer's concerns and strengthen her argument that Kat represents an unstable and potentially dangerous influence in Thomas's life. The fact that Kat once impersonated Abigail Devereaux under blackmail from Clyde Weston is already enough to make her presence unbearable for Thomas, but additional revelations about her secretive behavior and hidden motives would make the situation exponentially worse. Chad will have to decide whether fighting to keep Thomas in Salem is truly in his son's best interests or whether it's his own fear of losing another piece of his family driving his resistance. The boy's bold request to move to Boston with his grandparents is a cry for help that cannot be ignored, and Chad must ask himself some difficult questions about whether his home environment is truly healthy for his children right now. Charlotte DiMera, Thomas's younger sister, will also be affected by these family dynamics, though Thomas appears to be bearing the brunt of the emotional turmoil given his age and his clearer memories of his mother Abigail. The upcoming confrontation between Jennifer Horton Devereaux and Chad DiMera represents a defining moment for both characters and will have lasting repercussions throughout Salem. Jennifer, who has spent 40 years building her life and legacy in this town, will not back down from protecting her nephew, even if it means going to war with the powerful DiMera family. Chad, already emotionally battered from losing Abigail and now losing Kat due to family pressure, will view this battle as a fight for his very identity as a father and his right to make decisions about his own children's lives. The question remains whether these two strong-willed individuals can find common ground and reach a compromise that truly serves Thomas's best interests, or whether this conflict will fracture family relationships beyond repair and result in Thomas's departure from Salem for the foreseeable future.